Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome on stage our final speaker for this morning, the one and only Abby Lamb.
Very bright. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Come on, I'm a teacher. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. You're all shaped out, put your hands up. Yeah, we know shaped out, fingers on lips. You lot especially, over there, that's more like it. Yes, Mum's already been up and talked a little bit about our journey, but just to give it from my perspective, Michael asked me to share a little bit of light on the situation, because my journey into VivaMK as it is today is a long one. So Mum started the business, I was 14 or 15 at the time, so obviously not old enough to join myself, but what I could see straight away was the opportunities it was going to provide for us as a family. So at 18, I was given my retail kit, I was sent out the door. They said, didn't they, you turn left or right and the world's your oyster. Well, I had to turn left or right, and I had to look busy because she was stood on the end of the drive making sure I wasn't putting catalogues in the bin. I had no choice. I turned left, I turned right, I went all the way around our local area, and to be honest, I did do the majority of it on foot. At 18, I had just finished college and was going on to university. So, in fact, I was just finishing college, I was doing my A-levels and moving on to university to become a teacher. And so, it was all done on foot and around my studies at the time. We had our fabulous Team Believe girls. Once we got going and Mum got into the team building side, almost full time, like she said. And the word believe gets bandied around a lot. It's my favourite word in the world, and I'm so pleased that it's been used so much today already, because genuinely, sometimes it's all you need, and sometimes it's all that will carry you through. The amount of times we have sat, you know, when Clean Easy was no more and VivaMK was kind of in the pipeline and we weren't sure, belief was all of us had for a little while. It really, really was. And it's belief that's put us all here today from everybody involved. So if there's no other word you listen to today, it's that one, please and thank you. So that was then. That was when I first got started. This is now. I roller skate competitively all over the country. Very expensive hobby, would not recommend. Qualified primary school teacher, I've been teaching for 6 years now. I also have taken everything that Clean Easy taught me as a teenager and everything that VivaMK still teaches me now, and I actually use kind of my knowledge of personal development and my teaching experience to work with schools and children on mindset, well-being, personal development, mental health, neuroscience, all of the above. So that's a little bit of what I'm going to share with you guys today, hopefully, as well. I also have, as of next week, 14 children who I tutor academically and emotionally, and I've just qualified as a life coach, so I'm a very busy It's all, the point that I will probably keep tracking back to throughout this is that it is Clean Easy and VivaMK that has got me this. It's the mindset, the books, everything else. And I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's carry on and you will see. So my VivaMK business, I was a pioneer member. I am a member of the incredible Sparkle team, and yes, we are all bonkers. We really are. But I love us all. We're all fantastic in different ways. And do you know what? Everybody in this room is different in their own way, and we all bring so much to the table as a result. We really, really do. I'm part of the amazing Rhino group. Hooray! We are the loud ones, so I apologise in advance. I do have a small catalogue customer base and online customer base, because as you can tell, it's still very much a part-time business for me around everything else that I am already doing. But that is my favourite thing about this business, is everybody does it differently, and there's no wrong way to do it. So there's no right or wrong in VivaMK. There never has been and there never will be, and that's why Michael's ethos this morning, when he stood up and told us all about that, I was so happy to hear that, because there isn't a right or wrong way to do this. And so we have all got a lot to learn from each other, and we will all always take different things from each other, if that makes sense. The whole mindset thing came though because there was a lot going on behind the scenes. As Mum quite rightly said, I was bullied relentlessly. I was one of those people that was just picked on. This is Naughty Nana. Naughty Nana was a little bit of a legend. She's aptly named Naughty Nana because we spent a lot of time getting her back in her hospital bed, and we also spent a lot of time when she was trying to escape out of nursing home windows and going back and collecting her and that sort of thing. She was a little bit relentless, bless her heart. But behind the scenes, 15-year-old me was teaching myself through 2 GCSEs because I just did not have teachers with the right experience. I had 2 family members, my nana and my uncle Pim passed away within 6 months, and we are a very close family unit, and that hit us all really, really hard. I then went on to do my A-levels, as I say, and to get into uni for teaching, it was really, really difficult at the time. I was taking core subjects, I was doing maths, English, chemistry, photography, and an extended project, and general studies in an effort to get myself the grades that I needed to get through to uni. So there was an awful lot going on. When I got to uni, I was commuting between 3 and 4 hours a day, on trains backwards and forwards into Manchester. But the theme here, I suppose, is that busy people will always make time for what's right for them. And this business was always here every time I needed it, or every time I had the time to push it in the directions that were right for me. So, the power of the business. Okay? Oh, this is the bit where it all goes. Oh no. Like I said, it's always been there to pick back up at busy times during my life. So to give you a most recent example, I just completed some maternity leave cover, so it was working full-time for 13 weeks on school. The baby was due 3 weeks after the Easter holidays, and 2 days into the Easter holidays, my boss phoned me and went, "The baby's here, tag you're in." And I was like, oh. My 5-week countdown was, I'd planned a big area to blanket drop around my existing customers. I'd got it all planned out. I'd ordered my retail kit. I'd got everything lined up. And all of a sudden, it was my turn to teach. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, fine. I can be at the photocopier in the morning, swearing at it because it hates me. That's not a problem. And I've picked it back up again in the summer holidays, and I've been able to do the blanket dropping now. It's always there when you need it, provided you know what to do with it. And hopefully, some of the last bits I'll share will give you a little bit of direction on that. The numbers work, they always have. Like I say, my blanket dropping, so the drop I've most recently done, it was 40 catalogues, because I'm building around existing customers, a little bit like you guys are doing, Richard and Kim. 4 new customers with an £80 order value. But a drop that I've been revisiting, I've now had 3 visits in. I have only got 2 new customers out of 80, but one of them has spent between £60 and £70 every time I've been. The other one bought everything for his garden and will do the same at Christmas time. He's already told me I need to source for Christmas shopping because he can't get out and about as well. So it's been absolutely worth going back with that consistency, and even though it didn't happen in April, doing it now. Still been worth it because the numbers work and they always have. Okay? There's room for everyone at every level, and that is a culture that's really hard to get into if you have been in the corporate world. It really is a very difficult thing to wrap your head around. But there is room for everyone at every level, and we are in control. We run Michael. Michael doesn't like it, but we do. We run him. We are in control. We can stay on trend. We can order gonk bedding. We can buy Halloween bedding in summer. Because we can, and you know what? It does sell, clearly, because we sold out of it. We did a really good job getting rid of it, okay? And we can develop what we're passionate about and what really matters to us. As a company, anywhere in the world, what managing director can you write to and go, I want you to make an ant repellent and I want you to name it after me? And they go, yeah, all right. Why does that happen? It doesn't. We are in control. We can do whatever is right for us. We have got the power to be absolutely categorically unstoppable. We have so many experts in the room to learn from. So who's a catalogue retailer? Just put your hand up for me. Who's online? Who does a bit of both? Who has a team? Who doesn't have a team? Who's just put their hand up and given somebody permission to miter them at lunchtime because they spotted their hand? So if you saw any of those hands then in a field that interests you, I'd give you permission to knight them at dinner time. But for me, what kind of happened a little bit further into my journey was I'd lost sight of all this. My mindset had changed. My passions in my early 20s, I'd gone to uni, started teaching, doing really well. Could not, it wasn't the job I'd signed up for. 50% of my qualification year, 50% of my graduation year, didn't even go on to do their NQT year because teaching was not the job we signed up for when we took our degree on. So my passions had kind of dwindled a little bit, and 15-year-old me had smashed it with those GCSEs, and 15-year-old me had made it through all of that I'd done. And all that had changed is I'd stopped working on me. All that had changed is I was too busy for the personal development side of things, and I'd stopped developing my own skill set at that point. And it's the grind that totally and utterly got me down, basically. So I re-engaged with a little bit of personal development, found a passion for teaching the personal development, and that's got me to where I am today. I studied for me and then realised that actually this is very, very, very shareable, coachable, even as far as going into schools and working with children. So what I want to give you today are a few things, a few kind of key tips I would suggest for if you want to develop you. So if you're not happy, restless, unsure, don't really know where to go next, which we can all say we've been in that situation at any point in time, can't we, during our lives. This is what I would suggest, essentially. I'm going to give you some of my kind of, my take-homes and things that I really, really enjoy reading, doing, etc. So in terms of key influences, Jim Rohn, I love him. I just love him. I don't know what it is about him. I think it's his voice, secretly. I just like the way he tells stories and his anecdotes, and I think he's fantastic. I would recommend anything from him, the same with Tony Robbins. If any of these names are new to you, please write them down. If any of this absolutely is old hat, not a problem as well, because obviously these are people we will, if you've been in Clean Easy, you'll have been exposed to before. Bob Proctor's another one. Grant Cardone's a relatively new one. He's massive into property and investment. He's incredible. But these are people that I find really work for me, and if they work for you as well, then fantastic. There you go. And if you want any other recommendations, please just ask, because me and knowledge is king. I'm there all the time. 3-4 books, and then I buy them online as well. I'm really sad he's not here today, actually. I wanted to be able to send you all off to go and buy a book, and he's not here. But never mind. Some blogs, if you're not if you're a traditional reader, fantastic. If you read online in pockets of time, blogs might be the way for you. So you've got Tiny Buddha up at the top, who might sound like it's got a bit of a religious perspective, but actually it's all about values, principles, practices, and so on, discipline kind of based. Same with Impact Theory, which is also a podcast. You can get, I know Apple have a podcast app. I'm not sure about Android because I am an Apple convert, unfortunately. They've got me hooked, line, and sinker. So Impact Theory is a fantastic one also to listen to. You've got James Clear, who is the author of Atomic Habits. Again, writes a blog, does a podcast. And you've got Zen Habits with Leo, and I always say his last name wrong. I think it's Babuta, but I'm not 100%. And he does a lot on habits and discipline for mental health specifically. Okay? Like I say, I can share all of this if anybody wants to look at it properly. Best podcasts, some more that I really enjoy. You've got Huberman Lab, which is really quite scientific and neuroscience based. I find it really interesting to know how my brain works, so if anybody else wants to know more about that, I thoroughly recommend. And the NPR Life Kit is brilliantly informal, anecdotal. It's stories that you can really relate to, and real life stuff and real life situations, and it's helping me be a bit of an adult, really. NPR. What do you do if this happens? Oh well, there's a podcast for it, and in 20 minutes you're an adult again. It's brilliant. It's great. Some really good YouTube channels I enjoy are Evan Carmichael. So Evan Carmichael does a lot of work with famous influencers and interviews and that sort of thing. One Inspire does an awful lot of, it's asking me, it wants to know if I want to listen to NPR, not right now. One Inspire is a fantastic, okay, thank you Lloyd. One Inspire is an absolutely wonderful YouTube channel that's collated a lot of Jim Rohn videos and trainings. Again, I just love it. If you're a listener rather than a listener or a watcher rather than a reader. And some accounts to follow on social media. Mel Robbins is obviously another big name in the industry, but she's really funny. So she's very light-hearted, but very meaningful at the same time. Same with Robin Sharma, and then I don't know how well you can see that one, but it's called A Little Bit of Positivity, and it just fills your feed with something lovely each morning, and it's just a nice little way to start the day. Right, let me have a look at what we've got. Oh, I've only got one slide, that's really good. So, the personal development formula. Okay, this is what I would recommend, taking in all of that if any of that's new to you. Something to read. It's going to send you out to knowledge people who's not here. Something to hear if you're not a reader. Audible's fantastic. Audiobooks. Or anything like that. Anything that I've suggested, YouTube videos wise as well. Someone to follow on social media. But also maybe someone within the business to follow and watch as well and emulate what they're doing. Because if you've got a person in front of you, they are really easy to copy, fake it till you make it kind of vibe, and look at what they do and understand, well, if you want to be like them, what do they do? I need to do that too. And then the last two are a little bit different. Someone to cheerlead, somebody who will support you no matter what, and actually somebody to be accountable to. They usually are two different people. My dad's my cheerleader. She's the one I'm accountable to because I'm scared of her. My dad will always turn around and go, "Oh, he's doing a really good job." She's my slave driver, and I know she knows she is, and she relishes in that a little bit. Actually, secretly, she relishes in it. But they will be two different people. If you want to find me and ask me questions about personal development, because as I say, I do read a lot of it, I do look at a lot of it. That's how you get hold of me. But in the meantime, thank you for having me and enjoy lunch.